What's going on, guys? We're back at it with the 540. Took a bit of a break from this car to hammer out the E30 and take care of that, and then finish up some other jobs and all that. But we are back to work on this thing, and I got a whole bunch of goodies to show you guys. So I spent the week ordering parts. I took a while to order everything because I'm cheap and lazy. It's not really it. The reason why I took so long was trying to find a clutch flywheel pressure plate setup. So if you aren't familiar, the B40 mixed with the ZF 5-speed leaves you basically with a bunch of random options for clutch setups. So you can run stock 530 clutch flywheel pressure plate, or you can run like European lightweight flywheels with like E36 M3 clutch with like a E34 M5 pressure plate or E34 M5 clutch. A lot of different options. It can get really pricey. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to wait 4 weeks for one from Europe. I did want to do an E36 M3 clutch setup because it's stronger, but yeah, I didn't do that. After a lot of frustration and research, I opted to just go with the 530 Luck kit, Luke, whatever. So this is the same setup that was in the car, and that setup was probably running strong for 4 to 5 years. So I just stayed with this. So I got the new Luke clutch, I got the pressure plate, came with a throwout bearing, which I didn't realize it's actually supposed to articulate like this. Thanks to the E34 guys for telling me that, because I honestly thought this was bad out of the box, but it's not. So what that leaves me with though is a flywheel. The 530 flywheel is NLA, and it's like 700 bucks. So I'm just gonna pull it off and resurface it. I haven't been able to do that yet because I have not had this T60. It's not any T60, it's obviously long and skinny to fit through, and I'll show you guys when I get under there. So I gotta do that today, pull that off, so we can't really get anywhere this weekend with this thing, which is fine. I don't really wanna work on it anyway. But got this tool, and then we got all this stuff in here. I did this not filming or anything. I actually got all the detents on the trans replaced. I ordered the detent kit. There you can see there, that's 5 in reverse. So ZFs, if you aren't familiar, have detent issues, mainly 5. It likes to lean. Detents help it shift, and as I mentioned, this car is kind of having issues shifting. So I went ahead and got the detent kit, and just so happened that a guy local to me offered the service. So he dropped it off to him, 100 bucks, do the detents. That's way better than me trying to sit here without the right tools. First off, you need special tools. It's not one of those things you kind of make work with something else. You need special tools, and first time around, it would just be tedious and a long process. Didn't want to do it, so I paid him to do that. So the trans will have fresh detents now. All the goodies here. We're gonna get into it. So here we are under here. So you can see my flywheel. You could probably see the texture from the camera. It's pretty grooved up. I'm hoping it can be resurfaced, but yeah, so anyway, these stupid V8s use recessed flywheel bolts, which are T60, so you need this long thing to get in there, as you can see. So that sucks because I'm inclined to take these off with an impact just because I don't have the actual locking tool for this, and with a ratchet it'll spin, obviously, so we're just gonna have to crank them, so if something goes wrong here, something goes wrong. And this is what we're left with. So you can see pilot bearing, you know, it's got a little bit of play in it, but rear main is in fact leaking on this car. Obviously, why wouldn't it be? We're gonna go and do some trans things. We're gonna get the trans ready to go back in. I gotta change this thing. I gotta change the shift shaft seal. I gotta take off this brace to put the new mounts on, put new fluid in it, do the pivot pin, and a few more random things. But I'm excited to see how empty this trans is, because if you listen, it sounds like it's almost empty. So I am kind of expecting this thing to not be so good, so we'll see. So now comes the part I'm most excited for, and that is to see how empty this trans is. So the guy did my detents, as I mentioned, said it seemed low. It whined really bad, and it leaked really bad out of the shift shaft seal, and it leaked out of the detents because the cover on one of the detents was actually bad. So she was definitely leaking fluid. The output shaft seal is actually good. I didn't buy one. No leakage from there. Input shaft appears to be good. All that sludge I think is just engine oil from the rear main, but that's a pain in the ass to do anyway, so I'm not going to do it. But let's get this drain plug out and see how empty this poor ZF is. This might be a little bit of a pain to do without tipping the trans. Oh man, I might need a bigger breaker bar. Oh my god. I think this is cross-threaded. Moment of truth. Let's see how much trans fluid she had. Actually, I'm going to Snapchat this as well. Alright, let's see how much trans fluid it has. Dude. No, what? Oh my god, I was not expecting it to be that bad. Alright, so you guys saw it here first with me live. I did not drain this prior. This was not a joke. This thing literally had, I mean, what would you even call that? Like a spoonful of trans fluid? Like that wasn't even like, oh, a quart low or like half a quart. I mean, it is literally that outline. That is like next to nothing. It doesn't like look like it's got a ton of metal in it, which is good, I guess. The bottom of the drain plug has some sludge as expected. And the bottom of the drain plug does have some metal in it. I don't know if that'll focus. This would explain the whine for sure. And this would also probably explain, well, see, I don't know. I don't want to say that's why like 3 and 4 feels weird. Because I don't know if low fluid meant like it blew up like the, like I said, I think 3 and 4's issue is the selector rod. Or something along that line, something along that road. So, obviously low fluid can damage things, but I want to go on a limb and say, you know, that is a kind of a separate thing. I feel like that's from hard driving, whereas low fluid would just kind of wear everything. So I don't think the two are necessarily related. I could be wrong, but this thing was empty on trans fluid, and that bothers me because this is a very hard to find transmission because it's a ZF320. But with the V8 bell housing, I think I've already gone over that. But so yeah, it's the ZF, same as this car, but V8 bell housing. These are super hard to come by, but I am a strong believer in BMW's integrity of their stuff. Just old BMW is reliable as hell. So I want to go on a limb and say, with some fresh ATF, this thing will be fine. We'll see. I'm sure I'll put this back in after all this work. And it'll still probably whine because it's probably worn beyond clearances and all that jazz. But I think we'll be alright. I'll just add a lot of trans fluid. I want to like kind of flush it, but I don't think I have any ATF to flush it with. Like, you know, I want to like dump it in there and then kind of slosh around and drain it right away because there's probably metal shavings everywhere. So I'll probably do that. But yeah, we're going to put in some fresh D4 ATF. This is that good stuff. This should heal it a little bit, but have you guys ever seen that? Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen a trans that low on fluid. What? This car was so badly neglected, it's insane. But we're going to try to bring her back, so. Alright, so that concludes everything that we had to do to the trans itself. Detents, shift shaft seal, shift selector, the pivot, and then fluid. That thing needed fluid. So I topped it off. Not topped off. I replaced the fluid completely. So I'm going to call it for the night. We'll pick this back up once I figure out what I'm going to do with my flywheel, which I still don't know. So we got some advancements in the 540 project. I'm super excited. So where I left off, we were having issues with the flywheel. But you can see here. Oh, there's my strap. You can see here we got a fresh looking flywheel. So this is actually not new. This is the original 531 resurfaced. So what I did not realize was that you're not supposed to resurface dual mass flywheels because the grit gets in them and might vibrate or ruin the insides. It's uneven because when you machine it down, they kind of wobble because dual masses have obviously like the rubber in the back. So I called probably 10 places. 8 out of the 10 didn't have flywheel resurfacing. And then the other 2 wouldn't do it because it was dual mass. So I finally got recommended to one place, semi-local, kind of like 30 minutes away. And he was like, I can do it, but he's like, you know, I don't like doing it because it's not a 100% chance that it's going to be like, you know, work right. And I was like, all right, you know what, I'm willing to take that chance because I don't have time to wait and I don't have $900 to spend on a flywheel. Right, so they'll be wobbly. This one doesn't have much side-to-side play. Definitely had life in it. So he was like, all right, you know, I can make it happen. So he did it. He agreed to do it. And he did a phenomenal job. This place is a legit machine shop. So he did all the precautions. Basically, what he told me that you do is you put screws that go all the way through these holes for the pressure plate, all the way to the base. And what that does is allow it to not move. So mixed with that, and then you measure the, you know, obviously you take all the measurements and stuff. So with the dual mass, you actually have to machine down this surface as well, because there's a relationship between the pressure plate, how it bolts down, and the clutch. So when you take off the clutch surface, you actually have to take down this surface as well, because if you don't, then your pressure plate will be too far away from the flywheel. So luckily I took this to a place that absolutely knew what they were doing. Guy was awesome. So he did a phenomenal job. This thing looks amazing. He cleaned it out, dipped it in a hot tank, so there shouldn't be any debris. The way he ran the diamond made it so that all the material didn't fall inside of it. It fell out. So we should be good to go. I have high hopes that this will work perfectly fine. So that is phenomenal. That's a great advancement. So now we can get this thing going. I'm actually probably going to try to finish it this weekend. So what's up next for us is probably the 2 most dreaded things right now that I don't want to do. Which is rear main seal and pilot bearing. Pilot bearing's not all that bad because I got a tool for it. So I actually bit the bullet, went to O'Reilly's and got a pilot bearing puller, but this puller does not fit in between the pilot bearing, and we knew that going in. It's only $15, so I rented it, but I'm not going to return it because what I'm going to do is grind down, focus. What I'm going to do is grind down the back of these claws, I guess, so that they can come closer together and fit in. And then, you know, you twist this, which expands them. And then I got the slide hammer, or slide hammer, and then you pull it out. So this will be an easy job. So I'm not dreading that. But the rear main is going to be a pain in my ass. So here we go. So I got the puller. I got it filed down enough to fit inside. Beautiful. Now you twist this to expand it. I think that's good. And now, all right. Oh my God. Having the right tools is the best thing ever. That was so easy. Oh my God. I'm amazed right now. Just like that. That was too easy. All right, so we got that out easy. Now we got the new one here. I cleaned out the hole. So set it up. Oh, okay. I feel like it's not supposed to go in like that easily. Well, it kind of stops. All right, well, anyway, I got a 24 mil socket then, and now we're gonna do the finishing touches. So this socket is the same outer diameter as the bushing, or the bearing, not the inner one, and it doesn't hit the rubber, or not the rubber, whatever. You want it to be on the outer ring so you don't actually kind of destroy it, which I did on my M50, and I regret doing that, but just gonna hammer that in a little bit, a little more. Easy as that. You get the right tools, and it takes a matter of literally 2 minutes. That was the easiest job among the entire car. All right, so now for the rear main, this is what I've read on the internet. So you take a screw, they say self-tapper. I mean, this will go in. Now what I'm gonna do is drill this in to the middle of it. Careful not to go too close to the edge and score it. Drill this in, and then basically you just pry out the screw and it should pull the thing with it. So to do that, I'm just gonna use a carpenter's hammer. I mean, if this is how they do it, you know, you take the end and you do this, should work perfectly fine. So I got the drill bit. Let's see what happens here. I don't even know what to say. That worked so good. Oh my God. Dude. You know, I don't like this because I feel like this is going too easy for me, and I feel like that's just gonna leave me with something that clearly is not gonna work, you know, later on. Like there is no way that worked as perfect as that just worked. You can see, maybe it's got gray. I think that is RTV. Oh my God, who worked on this car, dude? So as I said, things are going too smooth for me. Surely enough, the guy who did it last put RTV on the rear main, which is just a big no-no. So all the outer, you know, the casing was covered in RTV. So to get that out, I ended up having to go to the store and get Scotch-Brite pads, and I got some mineral spirits, dipped the Scotch-Brite in the mineral spirits. It got it out pretty nice, cleaned it up, and now you can see here I got the new rear main on its way in. So to actually get the inner part of the rear main around the crank, which is the part you have to be careful of to not rip it, I had to kind of put one side in all the way and then kind of run my index finger or my, I don't even, index pointer, whatever. This isn't health class. But anyway, I had to run it along and kind of push it in and spin it, and that's how I was able to get the lip on. So now we're ready to go in. So what I've been using is the old rear main to kind of hammer it evenly, just because this is a nice, flat, solid surface, and it's the same exact size, so there's really nothing to go wrong here. This is actually, I think, the smartest way to do it that a lot of people don't talk about. Went in smooth. You don't have to worry about it hitting the crank or anything, you know, stupid. That worked totally fine. I'm so stoked with how all this went. Rear main, like I said, I usually dread it, but I don't think it could have gone much better than that. So well, while everything's out, I'm gonna go ahead and do this slave line and then do slave. So I'll do that. All right, so here's the old slave line compared to the new one. So you can see the old one, the rubber was all cracking and stuff, exposing the braided part, which is bad. It shouldn't be doing that. It is original because if you look, $12.94. So this is the original slave line here because the car's a 95. So that is long overdue. New line and slave are all hooked up, so the clutch hydraulics are done. So we're gonna call it there for this video because I don't want these getting too long. So we got everything prepped and ready to go. So up in the next episode, we're gonna put the flywheel on, the clutch stuff, and then it's time to put the trans up. And then I'm gonna run through all that stuff super quick, and then we're gonna go for that drive and see if the trans survived. So that video is gonna be quicker on the work, and then we'll get right into hopefully finishing everything and driving. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.